All-Star game starting just about 2 hours from now. Lineup for the National League is put up by Terry Collins. Will be Ben Zobrist, Bryce Harper, Chris Bryant, Will Myers, the designated hitter, Buster Posey, Anthony Rizzo, Marcell Ozuna, Carlos Gonzalez, and Addison Russell will be the starting nine for the National League. For the American League, it will be Jose Altuve, Mike Trout, Manny Machado, David Ortiz, Xander Bogaerts, Eric Hosmer, Mookie Betts, Salvador Perez, and Jackie Bradley Jr. The starting pitchers have been announced. For the National League, Terry Collins will put up Johnny Cueto. And for the American League, Ned Yost will put up Chris Sale. So those are the lineups for the All-Star game tonight. Again, for the American League, Altuve, Trout, Machado, Ortiz, Bogaerts, Hosmer, Betts, Perez, Bradley Jr. ahead of Chris Sale. For the National League, Zobrist, Harper, Bryant, Myers, Posey, Rizzo, Ozuna, Gonzalez, Russell ahead of Johnny Cueto. So those are the lineups for this evening on Fox from San Diego. Really quick, just going through the divisional standings. The Baltimore Orioles have a 2-game lead on both the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox have played 4 less games than the Toronto Blue Jays, so they have a better winning percentage, so they are currently in second. Yankees 7.5 games out. Tampa Bay pretty well out of it with 17.5 behind Baltimore. In the American League Central, the Cleveland Indians lead the Detroit Tigers by 6.5, the White Sox and the Royals by 7, and the Minnesota Twins by 20. AL West, the Texas Rangers lead the Houston Astros by 5.5, Seattle by 8.5, Oakland by 15.5, and the Angels by 16.5. So as it has been all season long, the American League East is the division to watch out for. In the National League East, the Washington Nationals lead the Miami Marlins and the New York Mets, both by 6 games. The Philadelphia Phillies by 12 and the Atlanta Braves by 22.5. NL Central, the Chicago Cubs leading the St. Louis Cardinals by 7. The Pirates by 7.5. The Milwaukee Brewers by 14.5. The Cincinnati Reds by 21.5. And in the National League West, it is the San Francisco Giants leading the LA Dodgers by 6.5. The Colorado Rockies by 16. The host Padres by 18.5. And the Arizona Diamondbacks by 19. For the wild card, what you're looking at here in the American League, the 2 teams that will make it are the Toronto Blue Jays and the Boston Red Sox. Those 2 are the ones that will make it. Houston trailing by 2, Detroit by 4, the White Sox and Royals by 4.5, the Seattle Mariners by 5, the Yankees by 5.5. Everyone else is 10 games or is 10 games or further out. The National League, the Dodgers are clear of the Mets and Marlins by 2.5. So whoever breaks out between the Mets and Marlins will get the second wild card spot. The St. Louis Cardinals are behind by a game. The Pirates by a game and a half. The Phillies by 6, the Rockies by 7, the Brewers by 8.5, the Padres by 9.5. Everyone else, Arizona, Cincinnati, Atlanta, are 10 games back or further. And the American League, actually after the Yankees, Oakland, LA, Tampa, and Minnesota are actually 12 games back or further. For the 2 New York teams, the Mets and Yankees, starting on Friday, we get back at it. Both of those teams, of course, will be in action The Yankees hosting the Boston Red Sox, which I believe we're going to be doing that game on Saturday. The expected starting pitchers for Saturday is Wright versus Sabathia. So expect us to be doing that game right here on YouTube on Saturday. And then the Mets and Phillies in Philadelphia open up a series on Friday as well. Now back to the All-Star game. The All-Star game out here in San Diego has been so poorly publicized, it's not even funny. You think there'd be signs all around downtown San Diego? There aren't. The only place where you can find signs is right around the area of where the ballpark is, known as the Gaslamp District. That's the only place where you can find any form of signage, any form of promotion for the All-Star game. Of course, the sports radio stations have had plenty to do with the All-Star game, but you think they'd run promotions on other radio stations out here? Of course not. The music stations, no. Do you think any station out here would have run a giveaway? They haven't. A ticket giveaway? They haven't. Local news channels? No. You can't find anything about the game on the local news channels. This game has been for an All-Star game, and I understand the NFL All-Star game, which is, people don't care about the NFL All-Star game. Rightfully so. I mean, the game's turned into a joke. Nobody wants to participate in it. And when they do, it's a disaster. The NBA All-Star game, it's nobody plays defense. It's a show. It's a spectacle. The NHL All-Star game they made interesting this year. Doing the best from each division, playing them against each other, and then the winner of those games played each other. That was ingenious by them. That was incredibly smart by them. And it made it very, very interesting this past season.